All right, what's going on, everybody? Well, as the description says, what we're going to go through today, I'm going to do a quick update, show you what I'm working on right now, and follow that up with getting down to some real business. What we're going to do is the truck that you guys have seen me modeling in a couple of the past live streams is finished, and so as far as from a design standpoint, is finished. So now I'm going to go through the process of taking each one of the pieces, making sure they're manifold, exporting the STL, testing it in a slicer, and then uploading it to Thingiverse. So I thought it would be cool to share that process with you guys. This may take a while, so yeah, you might end up having to fast forward through some stuff if you're watching this later instead of watching it live. But yeah, glad to be doing this today. I don't know if anyone's going to watch this live or not. We will see. But just going to have some fun. Hey, there's Rover. What's going on, Rover? Oh, and I just got a notification. I got a new subscriber. Awesome. Love new subscribers. All right. So what I've been working on lately, y'all can see the bus, which this bus is built on the same platform as the truck we're going to upload today. I don't have all the frame pieces in there, but you can see it's built on the same frame and using the same wheels and tires. I did this one in blue because I was kind of sick of looking at the green. But yeah, the bus, the plans for it will be a commuter version, which you see here, and then a school bus version, which will require me to make a little bit taller roof so I can model in the lights in front and stop sign and that kind of stuff. A like prison bus version and a tour bus version. So that's just a example of all the things that you can iterate off of one design, and even something as simple as a bus. So that's what I'm working on right now. But now it's time to go back to let's go back to the transport truck that, like I said, is now finished. I have been getting some drop-offs in my internet connection today. Hopefully that does not affect the stream. They're doing some work out there somewhere. I don't know what's going on, but it keeps affecting everything. Hey, Mike. Sorry, I'm not real good at looking at this screen over here where I'm modeling and then coming back over and keeping an eye on the chat in this screen. So I will try to keep up with that best I can. But I get hyper focused on one screen and forget to look at the other. The prison version will have there will be a bulkhead that will go in behind the driver's area. That will be like some bars, and it'll be designed to have a bulkhead in there that will separate the prisoner area from the driver, and then I'm going to design some bars like that pop into each one of the window sections. So yeah, that'll be the prison transport version. Then the school bus version, like I said, I have to design a stop sign to go on the side, raise the roof a little bit to put the lights on the front of the roof. The transit version will be the easiest because it's just, as you've seen, it's pretty much the one that I've got. But okay, so anyway, here's the truck. Oh, hey, Sonic Alchemy stopped in. What's going on, man? How's BB-8 coming? This is officially the most people I've had watching a stream to date. I've never had this many people on a stream at a time yet. So this is all still very new. My channel's still very new, and I appreciate you guys that have been so kind. And the 3D community is absolutely amazing, people. Got some exciting stuff coming with that in the next few days, but I gotta hold off on sharing that right now. So anyway, we got here's the truck. You see the truck is done. We got some little benches in the back for to be troop transport. The doors are hinged. The tailgate is hinged. There's a few different roof options, or the bed roof options. This part. I got 3 different versions of that. But I'm going to start with this version. Is going to go up to Thingiverse first. And I don't know if this stuff is going to work out when it's printed or not. You know, not having a printer yet, I can't test any of this stuff myself. I can just design it and theorize that it'll work. Oh yeah, I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of issues with prints. I mean, some of my designs have already been called by some, I believe Sonic Alchemy even, as a torture test for their printer. So I can probably once I get a printer, I can figure some of these things out and what works better and what doesn't, and maybe redesign some pieces to make them print easier. But for now, I'm just doing what I can do. All right, so the first step in the process. Oh, cool. Awesome. That'll be the first thing anybody's ever printed that I've designed. So you will be the first, man. Yeah, so anyway, the first step in the process is I have to make sure any part that is uploaded for 3D printing is manifold. Otherwise, it will not slice. So, and this process is kind of long drawn out, and it sucks a little bit, and maybe I'll streamline it a little better. Look at my printer nod. I'm not sure what. Okay. Anyhow, you have to expand on that a little bit, Rover. So each piece I will have to export separately. So what that means is every single one of these pieces will have to be checked, exported, and then I've been taking stuff into a slicer and slicing it, and all I've got is an old version of Cura, just to make sure that there's no errors in the slicing process. And once I verify that, the part is good to go, ready for upload. All right, so I guess where to start? I guess we can just start front and start working our way back. So we're going to start with this front bumper here. There's a couple of important add-ons if you're going to do this stuff in Blender that are absolute necessity. This 3D printing toolbox is an add-on for Blender, and it's easy to find and find where to get it, how to install it, and it's pretty easy to use. But once you've got a part selected, you click this check all button right here. I don't know if you can. Yeah, I guess you guys can see that. I was just making sure I didn't have that hidden. You hit the check all button, and what you're looking for, don't really concern yourself much with the overhang faces and things like that. It seems to slice fine. It seems to slice fine with any of these problems except for if you see non-manifold edge. If you see non-manifold edge, you've got to go in and fix the model. If you do not fix that and it's not manifold, it will not slice. So this one, when I click check all, we have no non-manifold edges. So at that point, here's where it comes in that I said it kind of sucks. So we're gonna make sure our file is saved here. Whoop. Make sure our file is saved here. Because what I end up having to do in order to make sure I get just the individual pieces is I have to copy the piece, open a new file, oh great, Blender's not responding. There we go. I was afraid it was getting ready to crash. And we're going to paste in the piece. So here we've got it all by itself in a file. So y'all can see, there's the connection points where it connects to the frame. We run the I've got some pins designed where you can either run a pin through it or screw it together or glue it together. So you'll have options galore when it comes to putting this thing together. So, all right, we've got it in its own file now. So then we go to File and Export. We're going to export it as an STL. Okay. Put it on in the vehicle design. We're going to create a new folder. Exports. If I can type today. Create new directory, exports. And then we're going to create another new directory, MVS Truck. Now, front bumper. Now, one thing I've noticed, scale, for some reason when you export it, if you just hit export, it makes it teeny tiny. In order to maintain scale, you end up actually having to scale it 1000%. And I don't know why that is, because when you use the measure it tool on Blender, it measures just fine. It measures the right measurement, but you have to multiply it by 1000 when you export it. Hey, Noah and Josh. Isn't it a school day? Should you guys be at school? All right, so we're scale 1000. We're going to export the STL. All right. And we started an exports folder. MVS Truck, front bumper. And we don't want to use any of those. Otherwise, Microsoft tries to open it with, I need to just go in. Microsoft tries to open it with its own thing. I don't know. More apps. Where's Cura? All right. I know I got Cura on here. There it is. I should have just checked the box to always use this program. There we go. We're going to open it in Cura. And my computer is not liking doing all this stuff at once between Blender and streaming and everything else. There it goes. And yes, it's an old version of Cura. My computer will not run anything newer than this version because it's the last 32-bit version. And my operating system is still a 32-bit operating system. So for those of you all saying that I should get a newer version of Cura, I would love to. I would love to, especially because some of the new features in the newer versions of Cura are awesome, and I can see some definite use for them. But I'm stuck with what I'm using right now. And before you say it, Rover, yeah, I know I need to get on your list and try to win a new computer. That'd be the quickest way for me to get one, probably. I'm sorry this is taking so long. My computer's just so overwhelmed right now. Hopefully it's not bogging down the stream too badly. All right. So there we are. It's slicing. And it's sliced successfully. So, whoop. Of course, there's some overhangs, so there will need to be some supports, but it's sliced successfully. That means that file should be good to go. So we can leave that alone for right now. We'll go back to Blender. The front bumper is done. Open recent. We'll go back to the truck. Let's grab the front grille. Copy. Which is just Control C like just about any other program. And new. Yes, reload the startup file. Paste. Paste in the grill. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to make sure it was manifold. I forgot step 1. Let's go back to again, sorry. All right, 3D printing here. Check all. No non-manifold edges. There's a whole bunch of problems other than non-manifold edges. But like I said, it seems to slice okay, regardless of the other problems. The non-manifold edges seems to be the one that you really have to watch out for. Hey, Walter, you finished up on your stream over there? I've caught you twice today, man. All right, so copy, Control C to copy, file, new. Delete the startup cube that's in every file when you start Blender. Zoom in a little bit here on which why it's looking like that is because it's, there we go. Which that's one thing that kind of concerns me. It looks like the normals are inverted on and that may cause us a problem. So let's select those. I wanted the faces, not the vertices. Select all those faces and flip normals. Yeah, there it is. Flip normals. There. You see how those were dark? If you see something that looks dark that's not supposed to, that means the normals are flipped. And what that basically is saying, it's like the mesh is turned inside out on itself. And that could potentially cause a problem. But we're looking okay now, I think. Check all. Yeah, like I said, I haven't had any problems slicing stuff with most of these. If we have a problem with this model, I may have to go back in and clean it up. But we'll give her a go. So, file, export, STL, and we were in the MVS truck, grill, scale 1000, and export. So we'll go here, go to the grill, and we'll open it in Cura. Is it opening a separate instance of Cura? Oh, please don't tell me it's opening a second Cura. That's really going to slow things down. I figured if I double click that, it would just open. For all of my modeling stuff, I've been using Blender, and largely because Blender is free. Blender is open source, which so I'm using open source software to develop models for 3D printing, which is largely supported by open source. It's beautiful. But no, I'm originally trained in 3D Studio Max, which is an Autodesk software, and the version I have of it is the 2010 version, but for some reason it no longer wants to open on my computer, so I was forced to look for another avenue to 3D model in, and that's when I had heard of Blender, but I'd never used it. I decided to download Blender and give it a try, and it's considerably different working in Blender than it is in 3D Studio Max, so there's a lot of things that I've had to relearn or learn to do differently than what I would have done them before. And for some reason it doesn't seem to be... Oh, there's more than one. Yeah, there's more than one instance of Cura open now. I guess it's just going to open a whole new instance every time I go to slice. So let's close this one. All right, we're in the grill, which, you know, those of you who are planning to print this, you'll probably want to lay it down or something. But it sliced successfully. So we're going to call it good on that one as well, and go back to Blender. Go back and open the truck. We're now, I'm just going to, for now, I'm going to hide the pieces that we've done and save it that way. Make it easier maybe to remember what we've done. I'm just kind of going front to back. So this is the next piece I'm going to do. So we will go to 3D printing. It's the 3D printing toolbox. Click check all. And we've got some non-manifold edges. That's going to be fun. All right, so you see I've encountered my first problem, but this is why I wanted to do a video on this and show you guys what happens when you run into issues. So non-manifold edges. Oh, well, this one won't be as big a problem as I thought. All right. So see if I can get in there and get a good view of it without. Going to edge select mode. I'm going to select that edge and that edge and see. Yeah, there was no face at all in that. That's wonderful. All right, so what I'm doing now is, for some reason, when it created this shape, when I cut the cylinder through there, it didn't create faces on each one of these, between each one of these vertices, which basically meant a big gaping hole. But it's in such a position that it's hard. You get all these lines in here. It's hard to see sometimes. Face, 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 face. What I'm doing is you hit the letter key F, you select two edges, and you hit the letter key F, and it will create a face between those two edges. All right, so we go back over and check all again. We're getting closer. So this is why a lot of people don't have the patience to do this stuff, because there's bits and pieces of it that do at times get a little tedious. So if this is too tedious to watch, I understand, because sometimes it's too tedious to do. Especially when you're trying to work in in wireframe mode, which is what I'm doing here. All right, we're going to check all again. We're down to 52 now. That cleaned that one up. So see, now we got to go over and repeat the process over here. And I'm just trying to get the best view or angle I can. Sorry if I'm not keeping up with chat. Hi, Scalda YT. Because it's hard to watch chat and stare at lines on the screen too. So I apologize profusely, but I hope you guys are learning something with me. And I thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me today. Because what will happen when we get this all done is I will upload this to Thingiverse today. And anybody who wants to print it will then have the option and be free to do so. Nobody's printed anything that I've put up there yet, but I'm sure that will change in the future. It's going to change for sure when I get my own printer, because I'll be printing my own stuff. That was what got me into 3D printing, was I wanted, or got me into a desire to get into 3D printing. I can't say I'm in 3D printing yet, because you know, that hasn't happened yet. But my desire to 3D print is I wanted to make my own stuff. And so that's why I'm here. That's why there's a YouTube channel of me doing this. And this is just kind of my escape from living my dream, because I am living my dream. I love what I do for a living, and I do not do this for a living. This is a hobby. And obviously, if I did this for a living, I would probably get fired because I'm not good at it. But that's part of why I wanted to share this stuff is, oh, you're printing the chair now. Awesome, dude. Well, Sonic Alchemy was gonna print that too. You might have him beat to it. Yeah, you're right, Rover. It's a bit like working on photos at the pixel level. I was in a I guess previous incarnation of me. I was a graphic artist and web developer, and you know, it's absurd some of the things that you end up having to do, like you said, editing a photo at the pixel level. I would get clients who would call that I was working on their website, and they would take me away from something where I was developing some, you know, a high-end content management system and working on the database interaction on the back end, and I'd get a phone call from a client that would literally be, can you slide this image on our website up like 2 pixels? And I'm like, really? Really? That's what you're going to interrupt everything I'm doing right now? Take me totally out of my coding zone to go into your code and move the relative position of this image 2 pixels. Yeah, I know, Rover. I need to check your stuff out, man. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at that stuff, and I normally shy away from contests and giveaways and stuff, man, because most of them lead to spam, and I get enough spam. So I'm not saying yours do. Yours may be, you know, all on the up and up as far as that's concerned, and I won't get a mailbox full of stuff. You try to eliminate spam as much as you can, but in the entertainment business, such as I am, my email gets added to all sorts of lists because I have a very public email address for my fan mail account, and because it's public, it gets crawled by robots and stuff like that and added to. Oh, we're down to just the 4 non-manifold edges. So now that should fix it. Cross your fingers, check all. 0 non-manifold edges. Perfect. Awesome. So we're going to get out of wireframe view and back up here. All right, so I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to hide it. Then I'm going to save this file. Then file new. It didn't like that. File new. There we go. Reload startup. Delete. Paste. File. And then we are going to export. STL. And that was under the MVS truck. And we are going to call this hood and fenders, because that's kind of what it is. It's the hood and the fenders. And almost forgot to scale it. 1000 scale. Because again, for some reason, when you export the STL, it ends up being tiny. Which would be great if I was looking for one, instead of 1/18th scale, a 1/18,000th scale. But that would be... All right, so we're good. Export. And we're going to go over to the file we exported, the hood and fenders right here. And we're going to open it in Cura. And while Cura is opening, I will catch up on chat. Go to my channel in the video description and click TubeBuddy. I will have to check that out, man. I've heard about TubeBuddy. I haven't looked into it yet, but I need to, because I heard it makes things a lot easier, especially as your channel starts to grow. And I'm hoping this channel does grow. It's grown a lot more than I thought it would already, and I've got, you know, what, 27 subscribers, which is awesome. Again, thank you guys for supporting this. I mean, you guys, most of you guys are, you know, we're talking about the 3D printing community, and I don't even own a 3D printer yet, and you guys have been so supportive. Especially big shout out to you know, of course, Walter Country 3D, Chris Riley at Chris's Basement, James at Print and Play. You know, been very, very nice people and great to interact with, and I'm just so pleased to have met all of you guys. Even though the only one I've met in person is Walter, I still feel like I you know, we're friends already, and it's great. It's so amazing. Good people. So as you can see, Cura managed to open this. Yay. And it looks like it sliced well. The overhangs, of course, so there will be support material galore in this thing. But it looks like it sliced cleanly. So we can trust that. We're going to close it, so my computer can gain some processing power back. This thing is it's 10 years old. It's over 10 years old, because it was a refurb when I bought it. And I mean, I guess it wasn't top of the line when I got it, but it wasn't a slouch. It's a old HP workstation, XW 8600. Its biggest downside is it's running a 32-bit version of Windows. But it's got a quad-core Xeon in it and all that. And I'm, you know, it worked for my purposes for a long time, but it seems like the world has moved on to bigger, better, faster, where even a lower-end PC now, you know, $500 or $600 PC would probably blow the doors off of this old workstation. So we're going to open the transport truck back up. And what do you guys think? Think that's a good idea, hiding things as I go. That way we know what we've already dealt with. Now, the great thing is, you see, like these pieces, while you may have to print many of them, I will only have to save and export one. So that's the beauty of that. So I think not only front to back, but we'll go top down, and I'll save the frame pieces for last. Let's go ahead and grab the doors. And the doors are going to be a little tricky because I think I'm going to have to reorient them. Well, maybe not. Well, no, because they're going to have to be separate anyway. No, anyhow, so you guys can reorient them when you slice them. But I probably need to separate them into two separate models. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So we're going to tab into edit mode, and we're going to grab just this door. We're going to hit the P key, which will separate. You can separate by material, loose parts, or by selection. In this case, we're going to separate by selection. And so what that did is that makes that a separate part from the other door. They were built together because I just built the one and then mirrored it. But we're going to have to go, left door, right door when we export the files. So let's go ahead and tab out of that. Save. Let's get out of wireframe view. I'm going to select the left door. I'm going to copy it. Then we're going to hide it. I'm going to save. File new. Okay. Delete. And paste it in. I guess I can check it here. I forgot to check it. It's got some thin faces and overhang faces, but it looks like everything, no non-manifold edges or anything. So we're going to go ahead, File, Export, STL, driver door, and we're going to scale it 1000. Export STL. We're going to go over here, the driver's side door. We're going to open it in Cura and test slice it. And like I said, I know this is you're right, Rover. 3D modeling is an essential part of 3D printing, and that's how I could get involved with the community immediately, because I do have some experience doing this. I mean, albeit I'm not a professional by any means. It allowed me to get involved and start making and doing things and sharing them with the community. So that was my goal in all of this. And it looks like our door is slicing. And it's sliced. I'm going to go look around it. Cool. All right. So it sliced successfully. I know this doesn't make for the most exciting viewing, guys, and I apologize for that, but I think if I can share this process with somebody, maybe somebody else will get involved that doesn't, that previously hasn't tried it. We'll sit down and try it, and everything that I'm offering up here is stuff that can be done with a computer, like I said, that runs a 32-bit operating system, open source free software. It kind of takes away all the excuses, if you were in this. Is you can get into designing for free, and no one says you have to be an expert at it. You don't have to be a professional. You can be a guy like me who just likes to sit down and play with it in your free time and see if you can create something cool. You have to know the things to look for. Like I said, get the 3D printing toolbox for Blender. And if you're designing stuff that has to be to scale, get the Measure It tool for Blender and use the Measure It tool and use the 3D printing toolbox to make sure everything is manifold, make sure things are to the scale and the size you need them to be. And, you know, just export your STLs, slice them, and print them, and you know, share them with the world. That's my goal, is to inspire other people, maybe like myself, that aren't professional designers, but maybe have the desire to see something made that's not being made, and just sit down and try it. I mean, what have you got to lose other than some time? But the experience, you know, that you can get with it, it's worth the time to give it a try. And it's like I said, the software is free. Why not? I've also seen where people are using Blender as their video editor. Blender is a very, very powerful program. You can do all of your video processing and stuff with it. And I haven't even begun to dive into that side of Blender at all. But Blender is also a sculpting tool. When you see people using things like ZBrush, Blender has that capability too. And again, it's free. So like, you know, like Autodesk, their Mudbox and ZBrush, those kind of programs, Blender can do it. Blender can do what Maya does and what 3ds Max does, and a little bit of the kind of things that Adobe Premiere is doing, and it ties it all into one open source free software platform. It's beautiful. All right, so we're going to copy the passenger side door, hide it, save. I'm getting off on a tangent and starting to rant instead of moving forward. I apologize. This is going to be a long stream as it is today. I appreciate anybody that's hanging in there with me, because it's not going to be a oh, I'm doing this all wrong. That's what it happened. Oh, I just closed Blender. I'm not paying attention. Okay. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I'm a musician. I never get enough sleep. If that can popping was too loud, I apologize. Not sponsored by Pepsi. Would like to be. I clicked it. Come on, Blender. Open back up. Maybe it's trying. Yeah, it's trying. Okay. And my desktop on my computer is the most cluttered desktop in existence. Okay, let's open that back up. Let's bring the door back, because I got to recopy it. Copy it to the clipboard. Hide it again. Save it, hidden, file, new. There it goes. Delete, paste. 3D printing, check all. Which, when you open up Blender by default, this is just too narrow. And it's going to be that way every time you open up Blender. So you just always have to. But no, we're good there. So file, export, STL. And we're going to passenger door. And scale 1000. Important not to forget that. Export STL, and go back over here to this. Passenger door. I'm glad I saved Cura as the default program to open this stuff for now. Excuse me. Yeah, Jesse, there's no reason to be camera shy. It's fine. Everybody here is very supportive. There are people in the 3D printing community from all over the world, and I always enjoy, you tune into a video where somebody, maybe English isn't their native language and they have a tough time with it, but the fact that they are sharing the things that they're doing, they're sharing their experiences, they're sharing their creativity with us. It makes it worth getting through that language barrier. I mean, heck, I'm a native English speaker, and sometimes I don't speak English well. But I blame that on my country raising. So I grew up in a small town in Missouri. All right. So once again, we have another door. It sliced just as well as the last one did. Great. Back to the truck. Now let's save the cab. Let's check it here because it's a bigger piece. Check all. Hey, no non-manifold edges. That's a beautiful thing. Copy it. Hide it. Save it. File new. Delete the startup cube. Paste. Which copy and paste on Blender is the same as any other program. Control C to copy, Control V to paste. So here we have the cab of the truck by itself, which again, it's going to have support materials galore. I apologize to you guys that are going to be printing this thing. That hopefully in the future I can figure out a way. But a shape like this, I just don't know what without. I mean, you're either going to be doing support materials or bridging. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess Rover, they wanted to hide your comment because it was a spammy kind of thing to say, I guess, with check out my channel. But I clicked show. I'm not worried about you spamming people. It's all right. Okay, so where were we? Okay, we've got the cab in here. We are going to export it as an STL. Cab. Scale 1000, that's important. Export STL. We'll go over here. Open cab. While we wait for Cura to open and slice, catch up on chat. And get a lot of links for you. Thanks a lot. Great. Yeah, the 3D printing community, Jesse, is absolutely wonderful. I got a chance to meet Walter when he was on his way to Murph, and him and his lovely wife. And I got to see the plastic 3D printer that everybody is ranting and raving over. That is literally like blowing up the community. It's awesome. And Walter, all of the attention that you are getting for that thing is very well deserved, man. It's awesome. So yeah, aside from support materials, it looks like it sliced and did its thing just fine. So back over here, open recent, go back and open the truck up again. We did have a good breakfast. I had already eaten before that when I took my son to school, so I wasn't hungry, but I did have a cup of coffee. And thank you for picking up that cup of coffee, by the way. That wasn't certainly wasn't necessary, but I appreciate it. The waitress even laughed that your wife and I were a cheap date. All right, so here we have the dashboard. And now this is the piece that I think is probably going to offer the most challenge when it comes to printing. I think a printer is really going to have to be dialed in to get this because of the steering wheel. And I don't know, maybe I'm underestimating the capabilities of of 3D printing because I haven't done any yet. But just the general shape of this and the shape of the steering wheel, I may have to go back and iterate this design in such a way in which I make the steering wheel as a separate piece, and then it can be glued together later. But first, I'm going to put it up there and try it just how it is and let people give it a whirl. And maybe it's, you know, a bit of a torture test for your printer, or maybe you have to take it over to an SLA machine. But if that turns out to be the case, if it's too difficult to print as it currently is, I will modify it and try it again. And that's the beauty of iterative design. I seen Daniel Norey, is that how you say his name? The guy that made the OpenRC car. He uploaded to Thingiverse today the updated 2018 rendition of the OpenRC. Check all. No non-manifold edges. Beautiful. Copy. Hide. Save. New. Delete. Paste. File. Export. Dash. 1000 scale. Export. Which, when you go to open a slicer, if you forget to scale it by 1000, you'll know because it'll be teeny tiny in the middle of the build plate. So that's why I test slice every one of these, because if I forget to scale it by 1000 before exporting it, I don't want somebody to go through the process to download all these files and start printing stuff out and go, hey, my dash came out this big. It was a little strip of plastic is all it was. Excuse me. Yeah, but then you know, the reopening gives me a chance to look at chat, and also I would have to go into Cura and actually open the file, like find it on my desktop, which is a mess every time. So this, I've already just got that that window open. So it also gives me a chance, like I said, to catch up on chat and talk a little bit. There we go. So we're sliced, or slicing, and we'll see. Slicing, slicing. Ready to save. Oh yeah. There's going to be some complicated stuff to this, and orientation is probably going to make a world of difference. Whoop. Just trying to drag that around. I may have to get with somebody who's a decal manufacturer at some point and see if we can design a decal kit for some of these designs and make them available. I know there's a couple reproduction label companies out there. You know, maybe I can work with them, and because I could design the labels if they would be interested in printing and selling them. All right. Well, Blender is minimized. Blender's not going away. I'm keeping Blender open, except for the one time I accidentally closed it. Blender is just a lot of switching back and forth between opening a new file and switching back to this one. Oh, with the decals, design them as part of the model, and then you'd have to have a multicolor printer. And some of these parts, the reason they are parts instead of being just modeled in, I thought about modeling in the dash and the seats, but then I thought that would limit people who didn't have multi-extrusion capabilities to their seats and their dash should be the same color as the cab of the truck. And I know for me, I would rather be able to print the stuff in whatever color I wanted to print it in. All right, so here's the seat. Walter tuned in on the live stream that I modeled the seat, and there's the seat. It's finished. Hopefully, it's error-free. No non-manifold edges. That'll work for me. Copy, hide, save, new, delete, Control V, file, export, STL, scale 1000, and go to this directory, seat. Go here. All right, let's just try opening it from here, like open file. Oh, okay, there it is. Oh, well, but see, that added it to the, well, I guess we can still find out if it slices. And there might be some people who when they go to print this, do exactly that anyway. Because they'll want the dash and the seat in the same color. They may bring it in and print it in the same print. But yeah, there we go. Cool. File. Open recent. Back to the truck. The top. So now we're going to copy. Oh wait, I forgot to check it. Check it. Guess we're good. All right, copy, hide, save, open new, delete, paste, file, export. Because see, if I export STL without breaking each individual piece out like this, it will export the whole truck, all as one piece, and we don't necessarily want that. So this was bed top square, because like I said, I got two more, so I want to be able to call them bed top. Probably bed top canvas and bed top tapered or something. I don't know. Anyway, bed top square, scale 1000. Export STL. Go into Cura. Now, how do I do it? Okay, I can just hit delete and get rid of it. Okay, so file, open file. Bed top, open. Yeah, I guess that is faster. Okay. I've came across some channels recently, Rover, that were under 1,000. That really their content was great. I couldn't believe they were under 1,000. It was kind of shocking. Especially a couple of them, and I can't recall their names right now. They're on my, I subscribe to them, so I'd have to go back and look. But their content was fantastic, and they'd been around for a while. So I was, cheers coming along. A lot of support material. Yeah. Yeah, Sonic Alchemy called it a torture test. It's awesome, buddy. I look forward to seeing if it comes out at all. I'm gonna have to mail you one of my spare G.I. Joe figures, and so you can, when you print this stuff out, you can set it on there so I can see for scale if I got the scale right. Unless you got a G.I. Joe figure laying around the house, I don't know. Yeah, I will, Rover. I'll go. I got to go back and look. I watched. Um, I get downtown for my shows early often because I live almost an hour from Nashville, but I leave my house 2 hours early, 2 hours before showtime, so that if there's a wreck or something on I-24, that I still have plenty of time to get there and not be late for my show. Because um, my job isn't like a normal like factory job or something where you got stuck in traffic. You just call your boss and say, hey, I'm running a few minutes late. I got stuck in traffic. If I don't show up to start the show at show time, I'm I'm fired. That's it. So there's no, there's no, we're gonna give you a written warning. We're gonna sit down and talk about it. No, because there are 1,000 people lined up ready to take my job, and so that's just kind of the way it is in Nashville. If you if you screw up, you're out until you've been there, a good long time. That bed top's looking great, other than the fact that all of that is going to be support. I'm so sorry. Maybe you could orient it. Maybe you can flip it on its roof, and then you won't have support. Well, but you still have some support between those little raised ridges. I don't know. Okay. No GI Joes there, huh, Walter? Except for you. You were a GI Joe. Have to make a custom Walter GI Joe figure. I put that on my to-do list. All right. So anyway, that's sliced. That's back to. I got sidetracked. Open recent. Back to the truck. So how are you guys liking this process in general? Does it look like something too tedious, or is this being really boring? I imagine. Um, okay. Well, here we go. Here's a case of something. I'm going to go ahead and do these benches now. I only need one because they're exactly the same. So I will just have to export one, and then when you go to print it, you'll print two because they're the exact same thing. So we will check it. No non-manifold edges. We will copy it. We will hide it. We will hide its identical partner. We will save. And we will open, or no, we go new. New. Delete. Paste. File. Export. STL. Scale 1000. Bench. Which I think the bench could even be printed separately by itself for something else. You wouldn't even have to use it with the truck. Go in here. Export STL. Cura. Delete. File. Open. Bench. Open. And again, slicing. And all of this is maybe one step too far, having to go through and pre-slice all this stuff. But I just want to make sure everything that I upload has been at least sliced before, since I can't print it. And if I didn't get any errors slicing it, then it should, in theory, work. Oh, good point, Walter. You print it on its end, so you just stand it up. Yeah, no support material there. Cool. Awesome. See, I'm learning new stuff too. So yeah, it's all about orientation. All right, so back to Blender. The bench sliced. open the truck. The bed rails, check them. So hit check all on 3D print tool. No non-manifold edges, so we'll copy it, hide it, save, new file, delete the box, paste, make sure it's there, looks good, file, export, STL. And I know it's probably annoying me saying every step out loud. Bed rail, scale 1000. But it's kind of like a verbal checklist for me. That's what it's amounting to. And maybe I should have done just, you know, if I was doing videos where I did like produced videos, I would only show this on like one file, and then we would cut to the next scene where we're slicing. Then we cut to the next scene where we're uploading to Thingiverse. But here you're watching everything in real time, and I prefer live streaming for a number of reasons. The biggest reason is the community interaction. I mean, community involvement. That's what this is all about. The community is a wonderful thing. Naomi Wu managed to get the whole Creality situation with the GPL and all that moving in the right direction. It's not 100% solved yet, but just the fact that Creality is willing to listen and things are moving forward in a positive direction. Yes, Creality was in the wrong. They were absolutely in the wrong. But the fact that they're willing to listen and willing to make it right, it's a step better than I expected from a Chinese manufacturer, because they don't recognize GPL in China. So them doing it at all, and they don't need our business. If they lost every, and not saying that the GPL violation, they wouldn't lose every customer in the US, but even if they lost every customer in the US, they are a global company at this point. They would be fine, you know? And so just showing that they're willing to listen to the community and willing to try to make things right is great, you know. More props to them for that. So bed rail saved there. So we're going to delete that. File open. Bed rail. The biggest reason I do that is just so I can keep track of what still needs to be exported and what still needs to be done. So this is just my process. I'm sure there's better ways of doing this, but this is what I've went through for. It's what I went through for the step van and for the guard shack. That is on Thingiverse already. And that way it's kind of like a checklist process for me. That way, that's why I hide the file as I go, or hide the thing I've done as I go. That way when I come back and open it, I can see what still needs to be done. So here we go on the tailgate. No non-manifold edges. Good. We're going to copy it, hide it, save it, new, delete, paste, file, export, STL, MVS truck, tailgate. And I apologize if you can hear, it's trash day outside. The trash truck's out there picking up our trash. Export, Cura, delete, open, tailgate, open. Some flexible black for some tires. Very cool. So is there any filament places to order filament out there that takes PayPal? Does anybody know? I got some money in my PayPal account, and I'm going to find a need to order some filament in the fairly near future, and I would like to just use that money. Oh wow. So there was no thermal runaway detection on the Creality firmware. So even though we had been lucky to this point that nobody's house had burned down, um, it was a possibility. And see, that's the reason these manufacturers need to give us the source code for this thing, so that developers out there can take a look at it, make sure it's safe for our uses and because especially a product like the CR10, which it's a large volume printer. So you're talking about a large volume print that's going to run for an extended length of time. I mean, multiple days in some cases. So without a doubt, going to be left unattended. I mean, we've seen all the ANET A8 house fire stories, which I suck at soldering, so I don't know if I could make an ANET A8 safe. I have to hire somebody who can solder to do it for me. No non-manifold edges. Copy. Hide. Save. We're getting there though. Look how much is left of the truck. There's very little left. New. Delete. Yes. Control V. File. Export. STL. To this directory. And this is the bed bottom. Scale 1000. Export. Cura. Delete. Bed bottom. Open. Which, of course, this will have to be oriented differently before slicing it, unless you want a bunch of support material. But I don't concern myself with all that in this process, because I assume that most people that are downloading stuff off Thingiverse know that they will have to orient their files. But it's sliced. Back to Blender. And I didn't mean to click mail. That's not even the mail program I use. I use Thunderbird. Open recent. Check. No non-manifold edges. Copy. Hide. New. Delete. Paste. File. Export. STL. 1000 scale into the MVS truck directory, and this is the bed frame. Yeah, we'll call it that. We'll call it the bed frame. And we'll delete that. Open. Bed frame. Open. Preparing to slice. Oh, I commented on Chris Riley's live stream that his thumbnail was hilarious. The live stream where he made the 3-color benchy, and in the thumbnail, right above the 3-color benchy, it says SS Walter. And I commented on the video at that. Seriously, I honestly LOL'd. I laughed out loud when I saw it. And for those who don't know, Walter is a big-time Florida Gators fan. And so he's in love with everything orange and blue. And when Chris Riley was building the machine, he just grabbed the 3 filaments he had laying close at hand. One was orange, one was blue, and one was white. And I said, oh, Walter will love that. And Chris said, "You're right. Walter will love this." And that's what he said. Well, I'm just going to have to send it to him after we get it done. And then Walter popped in there, and as it was printing out on day 2 of his stream, the print, let's just say it wasn't going real well, and a lot of people were kind of bagging on the bagging on the benchy there a little bit, and Walter was quick in defense of his gator colored, albeit ice cream milkshake looking benchy. Yeah, I don't know. I figured, I need to. I'm going to be in need of filament relatively soon, and it seemed like a good way to get it was to use the balance that I have on my PayPal account, and that way I wouldn't even have to worry about, because the balance of my PayPal account doesn't get budgeted into our monthly expenses or bills at all, and so I thought I could use that money to do it. Then no big deal. It wouldn't be money that was missed. I thought I hid that. I guess I didn't save it after I hit it. But okay, so there's where we go. Here's where we're at now. We're literally down to the last few pieces. So let's take this one. I didn't want to spoil it, but yes, I am getting a printer. As far as which one and further details, stay tuned to the channel. I will share that with you guys in the coming few days. Oh yeah, I guess I could use eBay. I was hoping to use Amazon though, because Amazon's 2-day shipping for Amazon Prime members, and then I would have the filament in 2 days. I don't want to have to wait like a week, so I'll probably just wait then until payday on Friday and order some, because I think even ordering from Amazon on Friday, I'll have it faster than ordering from someplace else, even now and waiting. Go Gators. Go Gators. I have no collegiate affiliation in sports, so I'll root for your Gators too, Walter. That doesn't bother me. All right, so we're gonna take this piece here next. Did we check it yet? I don't know. I was looking at chat. Okay, we seem okay on that. So we're gonna copy it, hide it, save it. Actually, I'll go ahead and hide the other ones that are just like it too, because there's no point. And now we'll save it. And then we'll file new, okay, delete. File export STL, MVS Truck, scale 1000. Axle. Yeah, that's what we're calling it. I'll call it the axle. Go to Cura, delete, open file, axle. Preparing to slice. Yeah, that's a printer I'd like to see too, Walter. The Prusa Ender 16 Moai. one of the coolest SLA printers that I ever saw, online anyway, that was supposed to be like publicly available and just never seemed to ever show up. Um, it was called the Morpheus. Did you guys ever see that? It was a large format SLA printer. It was pretty cool. I mean, they printed a cathedral, and it was like this big. It was huge. And it was SLA, so it was, you know, that really sharp lines and you know, layer lines, sharp edges. It was gorgeous, and it was supposed to be around $5,000, which I know is steep, but considering there were no large format SLAs out there, it didn't seem that steep for what it was. I mean, I thought once we saw it hit the market, it would find a foothold, but I haven't seen it hit the market, and that was over a year ago that I was seeing the videos on it. All right, so this sliced, and looks pretty good. Okay, cool. So back here, file, open recent. And then we'll grab grab this piece, check it. Non-manifold edges. Aha! Aha! That's the non-manifold edges. Here we go. All right, what are we dealing with? And why are they non-manifold? Oh, Lord. Okay. Yeah, I've had a tough time, Scalda, finding very many suppliers that have the proper like army green, the like olive drab. I think I've seen 2 or 3 of them out there in PLA, and none of them from any of the like really big, well-known manufacturers. So I don't know if that's a difficult color to make. And it'd be a matter of trusting some of these other unknown filament companies. All right, so we got a problem fixing this. All right, so because we got some non-manifold edges, I'm going to try something. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, that's what I was afraid of. Okay, I see why it's non-manifold. Somewhere in the modeling process, I messed it up, which, okay, you know, it's obvious, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's obvious because we have non-manifold edges. You see how there is a line running along here, and then it just stops? So for some reason, that line doesn't continue on through anymore, and that's going to cause a non-manifold edge, because where this vertex is right here, it doesn't have a corresponding vertex to mate up to on this face. So I'm going to see if doing this, and all that is it's called a ring cut. I'm going to do a ring cut, and I'll put it right in the middle. And then we'll go to Tools, Remove Doubles, which didn't remove any. Okay, hold on. All remove doubles. Okay, there we go. Remove 2 vertices. And now let's see if I go back here, if we have a decreased number when I hit check all. Ha 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 ha. Oh, yes. Okay, that makes me happy. that makes me happy because that solves that in a much easier way. So, repeating the process over here. I was afraid I was going to have to literally rip this whole piece out and redo it. Luckily, in Blender, you can do what's called a ring cut, and it'll divide a piece by however many pieces you want, and you hold down Control and hit R, and it makes a ring cut. By default, it's one ring cut, and it appears initially in the center of, see here, in the center. And if I just hit enter twice right there, it'll leave it there, which happens to line it up perfectly with those two vertices. So now if I select the whole thing and I go back here to Tools, under Remove, you can remove doubles. And so it created an extra vertice right over the top of this one and this one. So there were two vertices in the same spot. When I hit Remove Doubles, it's smart enough to know one of those vertices is an extra, and it can delete it and make sure everything is connected to the one that it leaves. So now when we go back to the 3D Printing Toolbox tab, when I hit Check All, 0 non-manifold edges. It's a thing of beauty. All right, so we're going back out, copying. We'll hide the two because they are identical. We'll save. New. Delete. Hey, Krieg 3D Printing Space. Sorry, I was focused on the other screen. That's the downside to a 2-monitor setup. I can only look at one at a time, and I've got chat over here, and I've got this over here. So, but yeah, so what we're doing is we're in the process of, for those of you just joining, we're in the process of preparing the last thing that I finished to go to Thingiverse, and we're going to upload it to Thingiverse today. I'm excited. Another thing on Thingiverse. What are we going to call this? Let's call it this frame, I guess. Frame section? Yeah, frame section. That'll work. Frame section. We'll go to Cura. And so in Cura, we are test slicing everything, because I like to be able to say it's at least been sliced, even though I can't print it yet. Soon. Very soon. Excited. Very soon. Frame. So frame section is what we call that. Open. Bring it in. Preparing to slice. Slicing. Sliced. Looks like it's sliced fine. This one should print really well because it looks like it will just lay flat on your bed. Awesome. Back here, file, open recent. Yeah, as you can see, I've been hiding the sections as I go, so there's really, we're almost there. And I appreciate your patience, those of y'all who have been so patient, because I get sidetracked. I go off on little bird walks. Check all. Oh, we got some non-manifold edges to deal with on this one too. So this is the part of the, oh, okay. Well, this is the part of the process of dealing with this is non-manifold edges and things like that. And as those of you who 3D print know, everything has to be manifold. Now, why this one isn't manifold? You see, when I've got it here in edit mode, it's only showing me half of it to be editable. That is because it is a mirrored object. I wanted to make sure it was exactly the same width away from the center on both sides as a functional part. So you can see there's a modifier applied to this when you get up here in this tab where I'm circling my mouse. That little wrench there means there's a modifier applied. So when I go back out to object mode, I will go to the modifier tab and I will hit apply to this modifier. Now when I go back, it's now one. You see both sides of it are editable now. Now when I go to check all, we're manifold, we're good. So tab back out, Control C. We'll hide all of these because we have them now. And we'll save, new, and delete, and paste, and make sure it pasted in. There it is. File, export, STL, scale by 1000, put it in the MVS connect. Let's call this connector. Wait, frame connector. Frame connector. And export. Go back into Cura. Delete this piece. Frame connector. Open. Slicing. Sliced. Didn't figure that one would be too hard. File. Open recent. Transport truck. We need this pin. Check all. So non-manifold edges on the pin. Copy. Hide. 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 Save. File. New. Delete. And this is so tiny. Oh, I didn't get it. Alright. Where did the pin go? So unhide the pin. Not that pin. This pin. Yeah. Copy. Rehide it. File. Export. STL. Once it's printed, you'll be able to choose, really. There will be the ability, you'll be able to put the pieces together and glue them, and they should hold. Glue's holding the extrusions together on the plastic 3D printer that you made. So super glue should hold this together equally as well. But the holes that you see in those connectors and stuff are also designed, and I have no idea what size they will need yet, but you would be capable, if you wanted to, of running screws through them. But I've also made these little plastic pins, which will be optional for people who are gluing. They can run a pin through the hole as well and glue it, and it should add some additional rigidity and fill up the hole. So it's really the pin that I'm in the process of exporting right this minute will fill up those holes in the connector, and you can glue it. And 42% on the chair, that seems like that's flying, but I guess the chair's not all that big. So pin, that's what we're doing. Just call it connector pin. Connector pin. We did 1000 scale, export. This should only take a second. Connector pin. This really shouldn't take us very long to slice at all because it's tiny. Yep, okay, good. Back to Blender. File, recent. we got 2 pieces left. We got the wheel and the tires. Well, wheel and tire. So again, it's a case of there'd be one thing, and you just print however many copies of it you need for, like in this design's case, 6. But the bus, you'll print 4, because the bus is using the exact same wheels and tires this is using. And that's why I'm designing things the way that I am, so that as I make a new design, I can pull pieces from the previous designs, make designs that are faster, and pieces that are interchangeable, where eventually it'll be almost like having a Lego set that's not a Lego set, if that makes sense, to modularly put together from whatever number of pieces that you have downloaded. You can print out your select pieces and put the vehicle together however you want to do it, which I just, I think it'll be cool. All right. And this is a case where we don't want both wheels to go. We only want one. So we're not going to apply the modifier. We are going to delete the modifier. So we delete the modifier. We'll copy that. Let's copy to the clipboard. Then we're going to hide the wheels. Save. New. Delete. Paste. File. Export. STL. .1000 scale. Into the MVS truck. And this was the wheels. So wheel. Export. Cura. Delete. Open. Wheel. Open. Cool. It's sliced. Chair, 500 miles. 500 miles. I don't know if it's 500 miles of support. I don't think you've got enough filament in your house for 500 miles, unless you've already stockpiled as much as like Tom Sandlatterer has in his basement, which you see behind him, where he's got the wall of shelves of filament piled to the ceiling. That's got to be a good problem to have, huh? At what, 30, 40 bucks a roll? Getting free stuff has its benefits, huh? Aside from just getting free stuff. He'll never run out of filament. All right, so we got the wheel. Now we just need, once again, we don't need to move 2 at a time, so we're going to delete that. Copy. New. Delete. Paste. File. Export STL. Into the MVS truck. Tire. Yeah, it'd be cool to see the tires printed in flexible, and then put. It'd be cool to see what Joel would do with this, because Joel G-maxes everything. I would like to see Joel G-max one of my designs. It'd be cool. I was half tempted, because the design would lend itself easily to it. I may go in and make a version of this that can be printed out as an armored truck, and then once I get a printer, print it out with a slot in the top for money and things like that, and send it to him and see. You never know, he might use it for collecting some of his donations for his for the children's hospital, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing he does there. He collects money for the Seattle Children's Hospital. For those of you who didn't know that, and he collected tons of money at MRF for it, which is awesome. So we're saving the tire, MVS truck, scale to 1,000. Export, Cura, delete, open, tire. This is the last piece, y'all. If it slices, we'll have it made. Slicing, 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 slicing. Ready to save. It's sliced. All right. It's the last piece. Okay. So here we have all the files. Yes, I know that's a lot. And Walter, you were talking about that this morning on your stream, is you don't like printing things that have a whole bunch of pieces. And I get it, but I don't think, because of the modular nature of what I'm doing, there's a way to do it. I mean, I could cut down on the number of pieces and then lose some of the flexibility of the model as far as, but like this model that I have, all I got to do is design a different rear end on it to do like a tanker truck, a tow truck, dump truck, a cement mixer, put a fifth wheel style hitch on it for a semi trailer. All those things, and it would use the same core components. It's just a different iteration of the design. All right, so I'm gonna have to do this real quick here. And sorry for every time you get a view of my absolutely sloppy computer desktop. It's crazy. Okay, so I'm going to move this one over here. And you can see that all I go to is social media and my own website. Thingiverse. Oh, I already had one open over here. Gosh. Jeez, Pete. Okay. There you go. Thingiverse. And there was where Walter followed me on Thingiverse earlier today. So, okay, Thingiverse. We're going to upload a thing. Which I can't see my chat now. My chat got buried while I was doing all that. There we go. There it is. We're going to upload a thing. I'm excited. Is anybody else excited? I'm excited. Drag your files or photos here. We'll try the dragging thing. All right, so we're uploading a thing. Thing name. Here's where it gets fun. Well, maybe not fun, but interesting. Oh. And I think for me, putting the scale in the name makes it easier for people to find. So 1/18 scale. Military transport truck. Oh, hey, Derek. How's it going, man? Just joining us, you missed the process I go through to take a model I've completed and prepare it to upload to Thingiverse. We're at the point now where I just uploaded the files to Thingiverse. We're inputting the basic information. We're going to go with 1/18 scale military transport truck category. So many categories. Guess we're going to go with vehicle model. I don't know. I don't remember what I went through. Oh, I read all the differences on the licenses one day and I don't remember which one I want. I'll just go with the basic one. So tags, 1/18 scale, military truck. It's good enough. No, this is not a remix. Summary. .1/18 scale military transport truck designed on my MVS modular vehicle system I am working on. System multiple designs to be built using shared parts. Post printing, add text. Model will require glue or can be screwed together. Not had a chance to print this. I am unsure. Size screw that will be best. If gluing model, we can print the frame connector pins and glue them into the holes. Okay, good enough. How I designed this. Add text. was designed using Blender. Add an image. Here you guys can see some renders of some of the other things that I've designed that I haven't shared on Thingiverse yet. Some of them because they're too complicated. We can go over those things a little later if you want to. I like to put a render image when I upload to Thingiverse. I like to put a rendered image of what it would look like, since I don't have an instruction sheet or anything yet. But I think if you give people a picture, you know, we're sending stuff out to makers, creators. They should be able to look at a picture and figure it out. I mean, I've seen guys figure out how to put together a 3D printer, which is far more complicated than what this model is going to be. Put together a 3D printer kit without instructions, or instructions that were in Chinese. So I think just giving a reference image should be good enough. You know, look, wheels go there. So I think we're ready to, maybe save and view first. I know you're excited. You're like, publish it now, right? No. No one's that excited. Save and view. Images are processing. Model requirements. Design using Blender. Rendered image. Cool. Publish this thing. Publish thing. Waiting for Thingiverse. Once again, I'm really glad you guys are joining me. I hope the video and audio is all good. I guess I should have asked that at the beginning of the stream. But I guess if it wasn't, somebody would have complained by now. Rover moved over to his tablet. He's taking me with him on the go. There he goes. There we go. It's on Thingiverse, everybody. So that's the process that I go through, and I know there's bound to be an easier way to do it, but I think the way that I'm doing it is thorough. And I want to be thorough because I want to make sure that people have as positive an experience as possible with the things that I design and that I upload. And if I've gone through and done my due diligence and put that work into it, that's the most I can do without printing it myself. Someday in the near future, I'll be able to print the designs that I make myself. Now that's going to delay things getting to Thingiverse because I will want to try it myself and iterate the design if necessary before it even goes public. But Chris Riley of Chris's Basement, I know most of you guys follow him. If you don't all follow him, look him up on Twitter, or not Twitter. He doesn't have Twitter. Look him up on YouTube. Chris Riley does not have Twitter. Bug him about that. Tell him he needs Twitter. Look him up on YouTube and follow him for sure, because the dude is an amazing guy, and I've learned a lot watching his videos. He does a lot of live streams where he assembles 3D printer kits, and many of which that he buys with his own money, and gives you a very honest opinion of them. Most recently, that G-Tech Rostock 3-color Delta that he printed, the milkshake benchy. It's 3 colors. It's the SS Walter. It's orange and blue and white. But yeah, follow Chris Riley on subscribe to his channel. And he was the one who, I was watching his stream one day, and I said, I've got these things that I've been working on, that I've designed, and they're done. But I'm apprehensive, nervous about sharing them with the community before I've had a chance to try them myself. And he said, just put them up there, man. We'll beta test them for you. And so I did. And the response has been very good. I've had 90-something downloads on the first one. Go to analytics here. See more. Move the date back because it only gives you the last 30 days. Hey, somebody's already downloaded the truck. That's awesome. Which one of you guys was it? Who downloaded the truck? 60% and 40 rolls. Come on, Walter. Come on, man. 40 rolls. What are they? The sample rolls you got while you're at Murph? 40 of those? Yeah. So anyhow, you can see there hasn't been a lot of activity recently on Thingiverse for me, because there's always like a spike where people download it hot and heavy. Walter got the truck first. He was the first one. Cool, man. Four kilogram rolls. You're killing me, Walter. You're killing me, man. But yeah, so as you can see, 96 downloads on the step van, but nobody has any makes on anything yet. So so if they've made it, they haven't shared it with the world. And I think that's in Thingiverse's license. If you make it, you're supposed to share it. But if they've made it, they haven't shared it, which is, it's cool. I would like to see what happens. I would like to see if these things even work. And I promise, if something doesn't work, let me know. Let me know. Show me some pictures, video, something. And I will sit down and try to engineer a way to do it better and redesign it. I will iterate the design. 4 kilogram rolls. All right. Well, so that's what I wanted to cover today. Was that we've got? I guess it's been about a 2-hour stream. I wanted to share with you guys the process. So I had a model done. It was ready to go to Thingiverse, and I wanted to show everybody what I went through, what I go through whenever I'm done designing something, the steps I take to get it to Thingiverse, so that I know that to the best of my ability, it's as ready as I can make it. So once again, it's taking each individual piece, checking to make sure it's manifold, exporting the STL, and test slicing the STL. And then once I've done that to every single piece of the truck, you upload it, So appreciate you guys stopping in. We can hang out and chat if you're interested in doing so. If not, I will end the stream. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope it was informative. I hope it was at least mildly entertaining. Walter entertained me a great deal. And I promise I've got some great news coming up. I guess the cat's already out of the bag. There is a printer coming. There's a printer coming. And I need some filament. I need to get on that, because I'm going to torture myself so badly if the printer gets here before the filament does, and then I have a printer sitting here with nothing to print. That'd be like buying your kids something for Christmas that requires batteries and forgetting to buy the batteries. And going, here's your thing, and it doesn't do anything. You just have to look at it and know that it will do something eventually. You live stream the chair printing. Okay, I'll go check that out. That's awesome, man. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you enjoyed the process. And download Blender. It's free. Make stuff. Design stuff. Because design provides for the 3D printing community. It provides the materials that are not the intellectual material that is being printed. The plastic is the physical material, but the intellectual material is what the people that are making the 3D designs. And I'm not even one of the good ones. I'm not, but all of us need to jump out there and try our hand at it. You never know. You might find out you're good at, seeing something in your head and bringing it to reality. And if Blender's not your thing, Blender is complicated. There is Autodesk Fusion 360 for the people that I think it's better suited for functional parts, like mechanical parts. There is Tinkercad, which I'm blown away by some of the stuff I'm seeing getting done on Tinkercad. I may have to sit down and play around with Tinkercad some myself. There's all sorts of options out there, and like Fusion 360, which I can't run because I don't have a 64-bit operating system. Fusion 360 is free for startup companies. So if you're a company that makes less than, I think it's less than $100,000 a year, which that, anybody who's designing and printing things, you can be a startup company. You're a startup. Fusion 360 is free for that purpose. Tinkercad is free. Blender is free, and Blender is so powerful. Whether you're into the sculpting side of things, like you like, Mudbox and ZBrush, Blender can do it and doesn't cost a dime. Whether you're into, the more CAD-oriented style of design, Blender can do it. Doesn't cost a dime. And again, I'll have to dive into it some more, but it's capable of doing video editing, which I think is cool. Doesn't cost a dime. So, just about done with the seat. Awesome. Thank you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and end this stream, but I appreciate you all stopping by, and I hope this was informative. Like I said, if you liked it and you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when my printer comes in. It's coming soon. I know it is. I feel it. And I plan to do a live stream when I open it up and share it with you guys. And I need to order some filament. Yeah, so very cool. Thank you guys so much. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Find me on Twitter, and I'm Tanner_3D on Twitter, and visit my website, tanner3d.com. I try to keep a blog there, and I haven't updated it for a couple days, but I need to get on that. And we'll see you guys next time. All right, later.